Shalom, family. Yes, this is your brother Dana. I know it's been a long time since I've been before you, but I'm still here, still in Atlanta, and coming to you tonight from a place in one love. And these videos again are intended for me to share what's on my heart in hopes that it encourages yours. The title of my video is also the explanation for my absence these last several weeks. And these are some of the things that I've been pressing through and kneeling. And I hope it will encourage your heart as well. You know, we are in a revelation of information and knowledge. And for me, it began when the Most High Yah spoke to me personally and revealed to me that you, my black brothers and sisters, are his true chosen. He said, son, they're my precious chosen children. And that is why I hope and pray that you will understand how precious you are to me as a Gentile, having the honor and the privilege to know this truth, to then be able to cleave to you. And that's where my journey began, but it hasn't stopped. Daniel chapter 12, verse 24, it says that, but you, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book until the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. We see that knowledge is increasing in the physical realm, critical race theory. And that to me is an indication that the Most High Yah, as we know it, is also increasing the knowledge of the spiritual realm. But many of us are getting caught up, not in the physical realm. We'll read and embrace any book we can that is giving us truth of the history, not only of you, my black family members, but also the history of the evilness of my white Caucasian family members. And we're embracing it. But when it comes to the spiritual side of the opening of other books, we're closing down and shutting them off very quickly because we need to press and kneel. You know, I thought of my Christian education at the college I attended, and I was taught there that the Bible that we received, the 66 books, not including the Apocrypha, but the 66 books, were the books that God had inspired who? Catholic priests, Romans? Inspired them to go through for 300 years all of the different books, scrolls, writings of a history that didn't belong to them but belonged to your ancestors. But they took 300 years and took all of this information, all of your history, all of your culture, and then determined out of all of that what you and I today should have. And I wonder if they determined which books should be in the Bible the same way they determine and the process of appointing a new pope. Did you think about that? I wonder if that's the same Holy Spirit-filled process that they use to determine which books or which readings or which history, which knowledge, which information, which wisdom we will receive from your ancestors. A culture they didn't know, a language they didn't know. and in fact, a group of people they feared and hated. I also know that anything that came from you that was of value to us, the Gentiles, or to the Catholic Church, Catholicism, they tainted it enough so that you would never engage in its readings because of what we did to make you, my black brothers and sisters, run from it. Christianity did it to a degree. They gave you the slave Bible. They said that you were the descendants of Ham, so forever cursed. The Mormons said that you, as blacks, had no soul. But see, all my life, I was taught a total lie that you, my black brothers and sisters, were monsters, were somebody I needed to fear. When in all truth, you are the precious chosen children. You were the ones that taught me love and loyalty and patience and forgiveness. Because see, in one of these books that my people have tainted, it says that the Gentiles will gather all of your history and then they will put it together in a book to give back to us. But when they give it back to us, they will have removed the most precious things from it. Remove those things like critical race theory did so that you don't recognize who you were before you were indoctrinated and stripped of your heritage, your beauty, your wisdom, your language. So what am I saying here, family? That during these weeks of my absence, I have been pressing through the lies of indoctrination. Why do I listen to the very people who enslaved your ancestors to tell me which books I should remain in? Who are they to tell me that these are the only scriptures inspired by God when they don't even know the true God of those scriptures? Gotta press, family. I had to press through what I was taught, that these in the 66 are the only inspired, until I read the pseudepigrapha that picks up Esther chapter 10, verse 5. But according to those who put the Bible together, that said only these are inspired by God. Determined that in Esther chapter 10, verse 4, his spirit left on verse 5. Second, Esdras, and I can't say that very good, chapter 14, verses 44 to 47. It says, in 40 days they wrote 204 books. Now that's something that's inspired by the true God. It took the Catholic priests and all of those basically 300 years to determine, but yet the Most High, the true God, could speak, and in 40 days they wrote 204 books. And it came to pass, when the 40 days were filled, that the Highest spake, saying, the first that thou hast written, publish openly, that the worthy and the unworthy may read it. But keep the 70 last, that thou mayest deliver them only to such as be wise among the people. For in them is the spring of ever understanding, the fountain of wisdom, and the stream of knowledge. Press, family. We have to press through the mindset that we've been indoctrinated. And if my people have told you that this book, in spite of the religion that has grabbed it and taken it and has ruined it in spite of it. We need to take that and we need to read it and determine what in it is the truth. Because my people and the religions have done everything in their power to destroy or to taint, to turn you and us, those of us Gentiles that want to come out of this lies, from knowing the truth. I don't believe my people for nothing. And I won't believe anybody who has hated you to believe what they've written about you, whether it's in this physical realm or the spiritual. So what do I mean by press? Philippians chapter 3, verse 13, brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind. And sometimes forgetting is that indoctrination, that things that we've been told from people that we know are liars. There's no way I can believe one word that comes out of Trump's mouth. And if he's endorsed anything, may not be of you or of the truth, but I know that when I go look at it, I'm going to wait for everything I know he'll do to make the truth even look like a lie for his own advantage. So, brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before, I press towards the mark for the prize of the high calling of Yah in Yahshua HaMashiach. What is that for me? That I will know him. I will know him if knowing him goes way beyond those 66 books. I will know him. Maybe not everybody has that strong desire, or maybe some of you, the indoctrination and the fear that rises up is holding you back. And sometimes, I know for me, it was that pride. I mean, as a white male who then goes to a very well-known Christian theological school / seminary and gets his bachelor's from there, I was taught all truth. Right? No. I was taught all lies. And so I have to press through the fear of indoctrination that if I go outside those 66 books, like they told me, if you go out, you will get lost and then the devil will carry you away. But I thought we were given a spirit of not fear, but of sound mind and boldness. I thought you said to me, Christianity, that whomever the Father holds in his hands and the love that he has around him, can nothing separate him from that love, even a few books that I read, right? Or is it now different in this case? Because if I go outside these books and I begin to read and I look past your filthy religions, I come to find out some of the purity of the truth of the pieces of the puzzle all coming together. Like in the other book that said the Gentiles will take your information and leave out the most precious things and then give you what they want you to hear and to know. I think of Genesis chapter 32, verse 28, when the Most High said unto Jacob, your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with Yah and with men and have prevailed. We are struggling not only with the Most High Yah in this, but lots of our struggles are going to come out because of men. What men have taught us, specifically men who are your enemies, not only in the physical realm, but in the spiritual realm. We got to wrestle, but then we got to press. And in that process, family, we got to kneel. Matthew chapter 18, verse 24. Then Yeshua called a little child to him, set him in the midst of them, and said, assuredly, I say unto you, assuredly, he's saying unto us at this point of time, more than any other time in history, unless you are converted and become as a little child, you will by no means enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever humbles himself as this little child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Family, my kneeling is humbling myself to embrace the fact that as a white, male, Gentile, evangelical Christian, Republican, that I am not at the top. I am not the chosen individual to be the vessel in the hands of the Most High Yah to deliver this good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ across the globe. But I kneel and I ask the Father for forgiveness because for 30 years I spent my life, 23 years. These last 7 years I've been set free. But for 23 plus years, since I was 17 years old when he called me back in 1990, that'll help you, I've been a part of spreading the gospel of lie across the globe. I was to Africa several times teaching. I was in Indonesia for months. From Indonesia, I went into islands where they still hunted by spear to share the gospel to the sea tribes. Singapore and beyond. I weep to think that for a moment I was a part of spreading the lies of Christianity and Catholicism. And so I have to kneel before the Father, not only to shed that guilt. I didn't know better. And I did it out of love, Father. But forgive me. But I also have to kneel to humble myself like a little child again in forgetting pretty much everything my forefathers taught me. But doesn't that line up with the book of Jeremiah when it says one day Gentiles across the globe will literally, their light bulbs in their heads will turn on and they'll recognize that their forefathers, my forefathers, have taught me nothing but lies and they're of no good. They're nothing but of vain purposes. From another book that I've been reading. And here it said, disciples, if my word comes to you and you do not understand it, you doubt it. And in the midst of nature, when you have only the fields, the mountains, and the firmament for witnesses, ask your master, the Most High Yah, again. Enter deeply into his word, and soon you will have his sweet reply. Then you will feel transported, inspired, and full of an unknown spiritual joy. See, Yeshua, by his example, taught us these lessons. Remember my example when I retired to the desert to pray before beginning my preaching. Remember that in the last days of my stay among men, rather than going to the synagogue to pray, I sought out the loneliness of the Mount of Olives to converse with my family. We have been taught that everything has been given to us from the preacher, that man or that man or that man. But Yeshua taught us, he showed us that he always had to take those moments when he went and it was only him and his Father to wrestle out. And that is where we need to kneel. We need to kneel before our fathers, just me and the Father, you and the Father. Not what somebody has told us, not what somebody has taught us, but to build that relationship. For even Yeshua said, my sheep know my voice and they'll follow no other. And that's what I would say back at this Christian institution. But wait a minute, even if I read some of these other books like the Apocrypha, I was warned never to read it because I was taught it was literally written by the devil. Well, I know why they say that. Because it reveals the history of their religion in Catholicism, and it is an abomination to the true Most High God. So how can this book lead me astray? If I know my shepherd's voice and it says I will not follow another, and if I happen to, he even says nothing can pluck you out of my hand. And yet, you put all this fear in me. Because fear is what a cult uses. Fear is what the enemy uses to keep us blinded, keep us chained, keep us oppressed, keep us in lies. So in these weeks that you have not seen me before you is because I have been pressing and kneeling. And if you don't press and kneel, you're going to miss the voice of the Most High Yah in this time of revelation, as these other scriptures are saying that more abundance of knowledge and wisdom and books that have been put away until this end time. You're going to miss them because you're going to stand on what your enemy taught you. And what they've taught us has been lies of vanity, and they're worthless. And they've taken out the most precious things. And so I hope that this will encourage your heart. See, on Tuesday nights, there's been a group of us now for 2 weeks that get together. Spoke to you about our gathering circles, Neshama Shali. All of us in this circle are all pressing and kneeling because we want truth. And we've been determined that we will not listen to anything our ancestors have taught us. But as a group together, we will sharpen one another. And out of us as a family and as a unit, bound in love, for one another and for the Most High Yah, love the Lord our God with all our heart, mind, and soul, and we're loving each other as ourselves. We know we will not go astray. And we've been blessed coming together. Each might be someplace different in this walk, but we're willing to learn and sharpen one another, to be encouraged, to keep pressing on. And by the way, if you want to join, please register so I can send you the Zoom link. And if you did register and you haven't gotten an email from me, please check your spam. If you ever send me an email, and this is a side note, and you don't get a response from me, please check your spam. I thought it was really neat. Dana at onelovesociety.love. But our email system still sees that .love as highly potentially spam. So please check your spam inboxes if you've never gotten a response from me. But we join together. We sharpen, we hear each other's stories, testimonies of this great awakening. And then on Thursday nights, we have a class time. And there's been several of you that have been already involved, and we're going to start again in October. If you're interested in any of these things, go to the website and sign up. But family, we're in a time where we need to press through the indoctrination. And then each of us individually need to kneel and wrestle with the Most High Yah. So this is your brother Dana coming to you from the city of Atlanta, from a place in one love. And I hope that my words will be of comfort to your heart, to know that you're not in this struggle alone, but together with the Most High Yah and our Holy Spirit and the examples that were given to us through our big brother Yeshua HaMashiach. We're going to make it through. And as this book says, undescribable joy will manifest itself in our hearts. Until the next time, love you, family, from the bottom of my heart. Shalom.